Everybody, welcome to our Making It Monday. Hurrah! I can't believe it's Monday again. That's come round so quickly, hasn't it? And when you least expect it and you think, it's Monday again. It can't be, but it is. So welcome. And it's so lovely to see you here. I've got lots and lots of lovely names coming up, which is super. How super that is. So everybody's watching. It's really lovely. I gave you a minute, didn't I, to see that it was live. So it kind of was a little nerve-wracking for me because it is like a countdown. You don't expect it. So so I've got lots of lovely people watching from Kentucky here, and I saw one from the Netherlands as well. I think we might have one or two from Australia as well this evening, which is smashing, isn't it? Really pleased about that. Love the new setup, love the opening. Yes, well, we've been working quite hard at that. And yes, it's touch wood, it's a great success. You know, I don't have a lot of success with things like this, so it's really good fun. I've got all your comments coming up as well, and that's absolutely super. We've got loads of people watching already. So welcome. And I just want to say hello to everybody. I mean, obviously I can't say individually. Oh, it says hello from Dot on there, so I'll say hello to Dot. But there's so many people, so I can't name you all, but it's just lovely to have you with me on a Monday evening. It's always a bit of a treat, and I really do look forward to it. So long may it continue. So happy Monday evening. It's 7 o'clock. It's Making It Monday, Project 17. Can you imagine? Project 17. Perhaps we should stop numbering them. Perhaps we should just say another project. That might be easier. But yes, it's lovely to see you all. And saying, so how's Abigail's fizzy water going? I have no idea. I only see her on Facebook Live, the same as you. But we can meet up now. From today, I think we can meet up. So that's lovely. So, welcome, Project 17, and as usual, I'm going to say the same old thing. When you go to print it, don't print that first page, that's just me making it look pretty, but go from page number 2, because at least that gives you the project information, Project 17, bunny bag, and also what it looks like. So that can go into your filing if you want to keep it. But if you download it and save it on what do they call, a USB, something like that, then they'll always be there for you. So it's better to do that than perhaps just to stack them up as lots and lots of paper. I mean, some of them have patterns and some of them don't. So maybe you just want to save the pattern piece and then keep the rest on digital media in some way or another. But they're starting to build up now, aren't they, quite nicely? And I was talking to somebody yesterday that said they're on volume number 2 of their lever arch files. So I make no apologies. So hopefully you've downloaded the pattern and you've got everything that you need. I'll try and follow the pattern as I've written it. As like I always say, the patterns for Making It Monday are always quite simple because they're free to you at the moment. So I keep them simple because obviously it's a lot more work if I do a lot more words and a lot more pictures. And the video is here to help you make it rather than the pattern and the instructions. Does that make sense? I think it does. And I think hopefully you can follow the videos okay. You'll let me know if you can't. Anyway, I've put all the cutting instructions on there. So if you are following along with me this evening, I hope you cut all your pieces out. I'll take it nice and slowly. It's a gorgeous little project, and it shouldn't take an hour. It shouldn't, but I will go nice and slowly so you can follow me along and stitch along with me. And then if you do watch it afterwards, you know it goes on to YouTube. And also, while I remember to tell you, on my website, lizzycurtis.com, if you go to video tutorials, and you do the drop down menu, it's got MIM videos, I think, or video tutorials. Anyway, it's quite obvious that that's what they are. So I am loading them up onto the website. So you can choose where you want to view them. You can either go onto Lizzy Curtis Facebook page and look in the videos, you'll find them there, or you can go to YouTube, and generally these last few weeks I've been getting them on the same evening, or go to the website. So there's loads of places that you can find the videos. Some of the earlier ones, I can't remember how many now, maybe the first 4 or 5, they don't have a video as such. They do have a Facebook Live, but I didn't kind of do it very professionally, so you can watch them by all means, and they're all on Lizzy Curtis, and that's no bother at all, nice and easy. So yeah, so what I've said to you, you need scraps of fabric, embroidery thread or fabric pens. I'm going to cheat a bit tonight, and I'll explain that as I go along. You need 2 pieces of ribbon, at least 16 inches long, matching thread obviously because we're going to stitch it, and then to cut your fabric as well. So you've got all the information there you need. And to be perfectly honest, a couple of fat quarters, you'll probably get, well, maybe 5 or 6 maybe of these. I don't know, I haven't measured it. Maybe, let's say 4. Let's say 4, in case somebody says, no, you can't. So I think, let's go for 4 at least. And then you just need some contrasting fabric for the inside of the ears, which are quite nice. And you don't have to do that, but it's quite nice. Now today, I'm going to just do the face as you've seen it on the pattern. But today I saw a picture of one of the bunny bags, and it had a plique on and embroidery and free motion, I think it was. I didn't study it in detail, but it's definitely got a lot of a plique on. So if you go to the Making It Monday Facebook group, which is anybody can join, we've just tipped over to the 1,000 members, which is amazing. Thank you. But maybe you'll see it there, and maybe you can think, hold on a minute, I could do that as well. So, I mean, I know it's a bit Easterish, because I said to you I'd do 2 projects that were Easterish, and then we'll move on, because that's enough, isn't it? And we've only got a couple of more weeks now, and then it's Easter. Is it a couple of more weeks, and maybe 3? So you don't want to be bombarded with them, because they won't be that useful after Easter, I think. Maybe, I don't know, you decide. Well, maybe the carrots could be used as spring, I don't know. But anyway, bunny bag is really sweet. It's actually a design, I'll tell you a little bit of information here. It's a design that I created 4 years ago for Crafter's Companion to go in their Sew Inspired magazine. And actually the carrot was in there as well. Forgot to mention that last week. So if you happen to have that magazine from, I'm pretty sure it was the Easter edition, about this time 4 years ago, you will find the original version of my bunny bag. And I looked back through all my photographs to find it, and then that gave me the inspiration I needed. And it's this brand new pattern. I didn't take those instructions because I didn't keep them, but so I had to rewrite the whole thing, which is fine, isn't it? So there we are. So there's bunny bag. Got the side camera, so you can follow me on the side camera. So welcome to everybody. We've got well over 200 people watching. That's absolutely awesome. Welcome to you all for Making It Monday. Let's get going. So let's take you over to the side camera. That's always a good place to start. And you'll notice this week we have a picture-in-picture. So you'll be able to see me on the front camera, and you'll be able to see me on the side camera as well. What fun. So I've got to remember not to scratch my head or anything else. So the first thing we're going to do is to draw on the face. And obviously It's really inspirational pictures because obviously it's white fabric and a white background. If I thought about it, I could have put it on a darker background, but I'm sure you can make it out fine. I'm sure you're fine with that. So I'm going to start with the face. I'm not going to show you the pattern anymore because I can see on screen it's not that clear. It will be clear to you, but obviously it's a bit washed out on the screen. But I'll keep it there. So here we go. Now in the instructions, I'm just going to make sure I've got my fabric the right way around. It says draw on the face or embroider approximately 3 inches down from the top edge. So all it is a case of you sort of working out for you where your top edge is. So obviously that's my top edge, so it's 3 inches down from there, and we're going to draw a little face. Okay, don't get too hung up about it. Now ideally you're going to have fabric pens. I'm laughing because I haven't got mine. I don't know where they are, and I have searched my room. If you're in my room, you'd think, well, I'm not even going to bother searching it. Or of course you could use your embroidery, and in the original one I did all that time ago, it was all embroidered. It was absolutely super. So what I need to do, I'm going to do it so it's best for me, and then I'll turn around and show you. So I'm going to measure my 3 inches down. If you can hear my dog, I think she wants to play, and I think John's just ignoring her. So I could shut my door, but it gets really hot with all the lights. So I'm just going to quickly mark 3 inches down. I'm just going to do a dot with a heat erasable pen. You won't be able to see this, but it's a tiny little dot. Going to fold my fabric in half, and you help, you do this at the same time as me, and then I've got my dot, and I'm going to put it right in the center of where I made the crease, and then I know that I've got my face centrally. And so excuse me, so like I said, I do not have my fabric pens. Okay, ideally you will have your fabric pens because then it won't wash out, although I doubt whether you'll wash them anyway. So I'm going to just use my water markers here, and I've got a really gorgeous turquoise blue. I've got other colours, but I think we'll just stick with these unless I feel that they're not showing up enough. And I've got white on white fabric, so I have to say it's not ideal. I might get another blue. Just a minute. I've got 1 or 2 pens here I can use. Let's see, let's try that one. You know how you collect pens? In fact, a couple of years or so ago, I got rid of quite a lot of my paper crafting things, so I just don't use it anymore. And oh, that'll be fine. And I kept the pens because I do actually love drawing. I do love to do that. So I've done my 2 little eyes. Okay, they're a little bit, they're small. And then I'm just going to do the nose and the mouth. So it's just an upside down triangle. And then you do a little stalk down. So let me try and do it so you can see. I mean, it's tiny, for goodness sake. So let me bring my mat in. Okay. Tiny. So, and this is why embroidery looks nice, because it's such a clean way, and of course with fabric pens it's not going to run into the fabric. And then you just do a little sort of line coming down, so you've done an upside down triangle, the point at the top of the nose, and then you do 2 half circles, so 1 and then 2. Okay, try and get them the same, but don't worry if you can't. And white on white fabric isn't ideal because it's there we go. If I bring that in, you can see there's a little tiny face. Okay, let's put the pens away. We don't need them near the desk anymore. So that's my little face done. And obviously if you embroider, it's going to look absolutely super, but if you use your fabric pens, like I said, it's permanent, and it means that you can wash the little bag when it gets a little bit grubby if you want to. You probably never will, to be honest. So I'm going to switch my iron on, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to iron the 2 little channels. Okay, and I deliberately didn't do anything in advance, just in case you're doing this along with me, and then we can do it together at the same time. So let's have a look. We'll get the iron on there. So don't forget, a little reminder, if you want this pattern, It's on my website, lizzycurtis.com, and it's under, if you click on the shop, you get a great big list of departments, and in there somewhere it says MIM, Making It Monday, MIM, free patterns. Go in there and you'll find 17, which is awesome. So I've just pressed my fabric, and all we're going to do is I'll turn it so my right sides are facing down, and I'm just going to press each end approximately 1/4 of an inch. I don't want you to measure it. Life's too short for measuring 1/4 of an inches. So pop your iron on there, get those gorgeous creases you can just about see. I don't want to zoom it in anymore because you won't see me when I'm stitching. Press again and press again. There we go. Lovely. So there's our 2 ends pressed, you can see. Bring it up, okay. And then I'm going to flip the long sides to the middle. Well, let's put it this way. Let's have a look. It says iron long edges to the middle, so that's what we'll do. I nearly said 1/4 of an inch, but I'll do what the pattern says. And if you want to, you could make yourself a little crease line right down the centre by ironing it like that, and then bringing your edges to the middle. If you look at it, it looks like you've got some bias binding. Obviously it's not, but that's what it looks like with those edges coming into the middle. And that gives you a little channel. Now we don't stitch the ends. You can if you want to. Obviously you can top stitch these little ends if you want to, these first ends that we ironed. But I just thought it looked a little clumsy, so all I've got is the 2 channels like that, that's now just folded over and pressed. I'll just give that another little press like that. And obviously try and be accurate as you can with this, but it is only a little bunny bag, and to be perfectly honest, it's going to be gathered up most of the time. Well, when they haven't, when they need the chocolate, it won't be, but most of the time they'll be gathered up, so you're not going to notice too much, and I don't want you to get too uptight about the accuracy. So again, fold it over one edge, turn it around, and I fold the other. So let's just make sure my 1/4 of an inch stays where it wants to go, and just fold that over and give it a little press. And obviously if you've done yourself a little guideline for the centre there, I don't know if you could be able to see it because it's white, you can probably just see it. Obviously you've got a crease line there. You could press that out, you could get your you could get some starch on there, because it's cotton, it takes a crease well. Or you could put your iron on it again, and you'll probably get rid of most of that crease, which it has done. But I shouldn't worry too much about that, okay? So there's our 2 channels ready. Don't forget, I haven't top stitched these ends at all. I've just left them. Now when you come to put the ribbon through, you'll find that your whatever you use, implement of torture you use, you may catch that fold there. So you've just got to mind that your whatever you're going to use goes over the right side of it, and instead of struggling against that fold. But we'll come to that as we go along. So let's have a look. So place the channel 1 inch from the top edge. Now first of all we've got to actually stitch our top edge. We need to do that first. So we'll put our channels to one side, and let's just bring this in. So on the top edge here, this is the right side. You see the little face there on the right side. So we're going to turn this edge over here 1/4 of an inch, and then 1/4 of an inch again. We're going to top stitch that, and because it's a top stitch, you can have it on a longer stitch if you want to, or keep it on 2.4, 2.5, whatever your machine is set up for. So let's just top stitch that top, and we're only doing the front, okay? We're not looking at the back of the bag yet. That comes a little bit later. So, oops, really went off. Or can you see? I've forgotten, I need to get my machine in a bit more. There we go. That's a little bit better. And there we go. So we've just top stitched that edge there. Okay, so that's on the right side. You can see what that looks like. Just see, I just went off slightly there. And then I've top stitched that down. That's absolutely fine. And if you want to press that, then press it. So the next thing is to actually put our channel on here, and it's 1 inch down from the top. So if I get my ruler again, I'll get my little ruler. I'm not sure I can see through this very well. The eyesight is failing. So I'll turn it round so it's better for me. So I've got my stitched edge here, my little face you can just make out there, and I'm just going to mark that 1 inch line, just so I've got an idea of where that's going to go. Can you see what that looks like there? Okay, bring that up so you can see. Right. And then we're going to place, and we'll need that again because we'll need to put the other channel on. So then we're going to place that on the line, okay? So with the edge of that goes on the line. And if you feel that your little bunny rabbit's face is too near to the channel, then just move that up a little bit, okay? Just move it up a little bit and get that equally distributed along the fabric. So if I pin it, and then I'll show you what I mean. There we go. I mean, I'm not a great lover of pins, but sometimes it's good to show you what I mean. I won't pin the other end because that's where I'm going to stitch. So there we go. So probably my face is a little bit high, but I'm going to live with it. So if you can see the ends of that, we're about equally distant from the raw edges, and that's how you want it. And then I'm going to top stitch all the way along here, and then all the way along here, but as close as I can get to the folds, because we want to have a nice deep channel to put our ribbon through. So I've got, I think this is probably just over 1/4 inch ribbon. We want to make sure that that's going to go through the channel okay, so not too big. So let's get the machine in place and hopefully you can see. So we're just going to top stitch, and I do a little back stitch to start, and then just follow it along. And to be perfectly honest, just pull it so it sort of straightens everything out. If you want to pin it within 1 inch of its life, you do that. You do that. Now, because we've stitched down there from up here down to here, I'm going to do the same on the other side, which may feel a bit weird to you. You might think, well, why haven't I just whizzed that around and come up the other side? Well, often if you do that, the whole channel will twist. So by coming down the other side from the top again, which is what we're doing now, the channel shouldn't twist. It should stay, it should be fed through at the same sort of speed, if you like, as the top channel, as the top stitching. So let's just do that. So there we are. So that's kept our channel really lovely and straight. I mean, it's absolutely super. If we'd come down that way, it will have twisted. I don't want to do it. I was going to demonstrate on the other side, but I just would have to unpick it. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. So I'm just trimming off my threads so they're nice and neat. Okay, so the next stage is to make the ears up. So we've done the majority of the front, in actual fact. That's almost done. So we will now do the ears. Now, I haven't ironed these ears, and I really could do with ironing them because they look, she's got scruffy ears. We've got a little girl bunny this time. We've got a bunny girl. We've got a bunny girl. And the only thing with this white on white fabric is deciding which side you're going to use. But with the gingham, there we go, with the gingham, looks like a little heart. It's any side, so that's easy, isn't it? So let me just check my fabrics. So right sides to right sides. Let's just check this one. Yep, right sides to right side. So, oh, great bit of cutting. Who did that? Sack the cutter. So all we're going to do now is stitch from here all the way around, and if you want to pivot and turn when you cut to the top of that ear, then please do that, but make sure you back stitch both sides when you start and when you finish, so it's nice and strong for turning through. And we need our pinking shears, so if you're following along with me, get your pinking shears out, because that's how we trim it. So I will leave them out there because I'm going to iron them. Have you noticed that a lot of demonstrators, and I'm guilty, we say gonna, and it's very easy to, if once you hear it, you'll pick it up. And I'm trying to speak the Queen's English, and not say gonna. So that's just. So I'm pivoting and turning. So sorry, I've got my hands in the way. I'll do the other one without my hands in the way. There we go. So little back stitch, so it's nice and strong. I've done a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you can hear my doggy, she does this every single week. She goes out in the garden and barks like crazy. She knows. Either that or somebody in the neighbourhood walks their dog at 7:30 in the evening. But you do, don't you? We're creatures of habit. So I wouldn't be surprised. So just pivot and turn, and that way you get a nice smooth stitch. Also, while I remember, you could take, it really helps on a curve to take your stitch length down. So take your stitch length down to 2. It's a devil of a job to unpick it if you go wrong, but it does give you a nicer curve. So there we go. There's my ears. So, pinking shears. Got some new pink ones. Look at those. They're a bit trendy, aren't they? So I'm just going to neaten this all off. And pinking shears are great for going round curves because they put the shape of the V in. Because sometimes we actually cut notches out, don't we, when we go around curves? And especially when the curve is going like this way around rather than that way around. And trust me, there is a difference. With the other one, you would just do, you just snip into it, and then it's like when you put a gusset into a bag, and you always put the bag body to the gusset rather than the other way around, and you snip into that straight edge, and then it splays out. You wouldn't use this. This technique for doing the little notches out is for the curves going the other way. So try it and see what you think. See what you think. So trim these all up. It's worth doing because it means that nothing is then bulky. And once you've got your pinking shears out, you can obviously then trim the bag when you've done, because you can obviously put it through your overlock or your serger. That's no bother. But if you haven't got one of those, you could do a zigzag. But you could use pinking shears as well. So let me get my new super duper magic wand. Look at that. Can you see? I'll just turn it. You can see. Ooh, I feel a little bit Harry Potterish. I suppose it looks a bit wizardry, doesn't it? A bit magical when you've got a two-tone pokey tool. That's amazing, isn't it? I love it. Well, I've got another one as well that our Jackie bought us. And I use that. But I'll have to swap from one to the other. So just roll your edges here. Roll your edges so your seams come out. It always helps if your hands are a little bit not dry. Let's put it that way. They're not dry, and it helps to roll those seams out. So we've got one little ear done. Look, white on the back. Another little ear there. Somebody says, yes, you are a wizard. Yeah. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Right, so we're just turning the other ear through. That was Donna. I'm sure she means it's a nice thing. And then just use the curve of the pokey tool, because obviously this is not blunt at all. You can see it's not blunt. So use that to push your seam out. And just that little bit of heat from you doing that will actually push that seam out beautifully. And then again, you can roll those seams to get that all out. And if you look, do you see how I've got a little bit of a square bit going on there? I don't know if you can see that. I'll put it on a bit of dark there. So that is where it hasn't turned properly. So it's nice to get in there with your tool again and just poke that out. And all that fabric that we cut just needs to be placed in a different way, if you like. There we go, and that's got rid of that now. There we go, not too bad. So that's our second little ear. So let's give it a press. Now I haven't top stitched mine, but obviously you can. I mustn't turn my iron on, off. Just keep it on. So give them a little press, because perhaps you won't get another opportunity. And I just need to that ear is a little bit straight there, so I just need to coax it. I think it'll be fine. I'm sorry about if you can hear my doggy. She gets very excited this time of night. Okay, so we've done our ears. So if you look at the pattern, and maybe you'll have yours in front of you. We've done our ears, and now what we're going to do is place them into the bag. Okay, so now this is where you need to concentrate, guys. Okay, you need to concentrate, because if you get it the wrong way round, you'll have to unpick it, which is a nuisance, isn't it? So we need the wrong side facing us like this, and our ears go right side down. So I'm wondering which way is best for you. So let me do it like that. So you've got the wrong side here, because that's my right side. Okay, so I'll just bring that down, and now you can see the two ears, and the right side is facing down like that. Okay, so wrong side of the bag, and well, it's the right side of the ear, but let's say the pink bit, we'll call that the right side, that's going down. Okay, like that. And then what we need to do is to actually encase those ears into that seam. We're going to do just as like we did on the top bit there. We're going to fold over 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to fold over 1/4 of an inch again, but we want to encase the ears. Okay, I wonder if it would be better if I iron this, and then you might be able to see it a little bit better if it's confusing, because I know sometimes these things can be confusing. So the first thing we're going to do is do 1/4 of an inch fold over. Okay, 1/4 of an inch like that. Okay, that's good. So I've got my 1/4 inch folded over there. Okay, just hold that down so you can see. And then what I'm going to do, I could find the middle. I could be really good. Find the middle, get a little crease. Right, see my little crease there. You can just about see it. And then I'm going to place my ear on the crease. You don't have to have them right next to each other. You could have a little gap. I think I've got a little gap in the picture. So there we are. So they're just touching that raw edge. Okay, and then you're going to fold this over, that top bit over again. All right, so I'm going to do it, and then I'll show you. And I'll get some clips, because clips are probably easier. There we go. So, can you see I've folded that? I'll just try and get my fingers out of the way. Let's do that. So now I folded it over. Can you see? So there's my original seam there, or the fold over there. And all I've done is folded that over the top of my ears. So my ears are encased in there. Okay, and if you bring the bag up and you look at it, those ears are going to sit like that, and that does make sense. It doesn't at first glance. You think that, well, you're putting ears on the inside of the bag, but we flip those up and we top stitch them down. Okay, so first of all we're going to stitch close to the edge of the fold. Okay, not the top fold, this bottom fold here. So we're going to top stitch that little bit. So let's bring that, and let's just machine that. Okay, let me just refresh my chat on here and see what happens. I'm getting not double vision, but double chats. So let's just stitch along here so you can see I'm just taking my clips out as I go, and then just top stitching. So I've encased my ears in the hem. So if I bring that up, you can see how that looks. Okay, so the other thing we're going to do now is lift those ears up. Okay, and we're going to top stitch those ears down. So I'm just going to stitch close to this edge here, right across that ear. It doesn't hurt. Bunny doesn't mind, honestly. So straight across, and make sure you've got them as flat as you can get. And you might want to do this from the front so you can get the lines of the stitching beautiful. But it is only a bunny bag. You have to try to remember it's only a bunny bag. Okay. So there's our ears in place. They look great, don't they? Okay, so they're going to go like that. Okay, so there's the front of the bag and there's the back of the bag. So on this side of the bag, which is the back, we need to put the channel in. Okay, do you remember? We did that channel just a little while ago and I said I'd need my ruler and my pen. So I'll just flip this around so it's better for me. So again, just measure 1 inch down from the top and then draw a little line so you know roughly where it's going. You can alter it, obviously you can alter it. So I've just drawn myself a line. So that's on that side of the bag. So that's the back. That's the back of the ears. Yep, hopefully that makes sense. So again, we're just going to place our channel over the top of that. We're going to get it about the same distance, you know, that we had before from the edges, from the sides. So I'll just pin that so you can see. And I've put it, I suppose it's just above that line. Doesn't matter, as long as it just about matches, it's fine. Don't get too hung up about it. So there's my channel in the back. So now I'm going to stitch along here, take it to the top again if you like, and then we're going to stitch down there. So let's do that. So a nice little back stitch and then about 1/8 of an inch maximum away from the edges because we don't want great lumpy seams, and we've got to get our threading device. You know, I use a safety pin. I'm an old-fashioned gal and I use a safety pin, always have done, always will do, perfectly fine. I'm sure a lot of you do as well. There's lots of people that have lots of tricks of how to get ribbon through. Just as long as you can do it, that's all that matters. So let's just snip our threads and keep everything tidy. There we go. So there is our back channel in place. There's our front, there's our back. And obviously when we put the bag together, again, you can see how that looks. Okay, looks super cute already. So now what we're going to do is right sides together and just stitch up the sides. Now, by all means, get your overlocker stroke serger out. You know, you could use your zigzag stitch on the edge of that as well, just to keep it neat. If you've got a faux overlocker stitch on your machine, or even an overlocker built into your machine, use it. Then I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to pink the edges because that's easy. It's only an Easter bunny bag. It's not a garment. I'll keep that mat there because I'm going to give it a press in a minute. So I'm going to start from the top, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Let's bring it in so you can see what I'm doing. So I've brought my right sides together. Oh, and by the way, I meant to say, on the top at the back, we've got 2 lines of top stitching now. We could, again, of course, replicate that at the top. In fact, let's do it. Let's not talk about it. Let's do it. This machine that I use, which is a Juki, it's a semi-industrial machine. It doesn't have a zigzag. Otherwise, I'd probably do that. But, as like I say, it's only got a straight stitch, and I love it so much. Anyway, we've got 2 lines of stitching now on those top seams, which matches, which makes me feel happy. So I'm bringing up the top edge to the top edge and just get them lined up. You want a 1/4 inch seam allowance again. Nice little back stitch. Be careful that you don't stitch over your channels. So just make sure your channels are sitting away from the seam. If they're close but you know, 1/4 of an inch, they're going to catch them, then please do an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Avoid them. You don't have to stitch over them. If you stitch over them, you've got to unpick the whole thing. So, lovely. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. So there's our bag done. So let's get the pinking shears in. Like I say, you use whatever is at your disposal. And I'm just going to cut down there and make it look beautiful. I love a pinking shear, don't you? I think they're very underrated. Very underrated. We don't use them enough. That's my opinion. We don't use pinking shears enough. Because as soon as you think pinking shears, you think of, you know, children and school and felt and things like that. But actually, they are a great asset to your workroom. There we go. So there's our little bag ready to turn through. So just turn it through. And again, if you want to, you could get your little pokey tool in there and poke those corners out. Don't be too rough with it, just be careful with it. And then going to pop it onto my little mat here and give it a press. Let's have a look, make sure my iron's still on. And if you have used fabric pens on the face, I'm laughing because it looks quite cute. Then the heat will set them. The heat will set them. So there we go. That'll do nicely. Oh, and while I remember, I was going to iron my ribbon because look at this. It's been tucked in a drawer, and it's absolutely creased. It's gone curly. So I just hold the two ends and just pull it through like that. Okay, then we have two beautiful pieces of straight ribbon. And then we're going to put one in one side and one in the other. I'm sure you must have seen this before. So, French seams for neatness, Jackie. Well, by all means, do French seams. I think sometimes it's a case of remembering what you're making and who you're making it for. If it's going to be a luxurious gift for a loved one, maybe, because it's coming up to Mothering Sunday, isn't it? So maybe, even though it's a bunny rabbit, could be for Mothering Sunday. So look, when you come to the end, just be careful because you've got that fold there. We haven't top stitched, if you remember. So maybe if it wants to be totally and utterly gorgeous and deliciously beautiful, do French seams. And you know what? I think it depends whether you're a real perfectionist or not. So I just tie a knot. You could find a lovely bead. You could stitch them together. Some people use, and I don't condone this, some people use a lighter, you know, a cigarette lighter to burn the ends of the ribbon, all that sort of thing. There's lots of tricks, but I can't demonstrate things like that. So where we've put the ribbon in this side, we're now going to put the ribbon in this side. And it just, because it's lovely cotton, there's no lining to it, it's all beautiful. It just goes, why I'm going backwards, I don't know. It's not, I don't normally go backwards. It's completely thrown me now. So just make sure you get your threading device under the folds. How bizarre. I don't normally go backwards. I should be going backwards all evening now. Just thread your ribbon through. Look at that. Beautiful. And then just make sure your two ends are the same length, okay? Makes me laugh. Right, bring your ends together, do a little knot. Like I say, you could do some beading on that. And then just take them off at a 45-degree angle so they don't fray. Well, they won't fray too badly. And there's our little bunny rabbit purse, bunny rabbit bag. There we go, with a little peeking face coming out of the top. Then it's just a case of filling it with goodies. Now, I think, unless I ate them all earlier, I have Percy Pigs. Now, for anybody that's not in the UK, you don't know what you're missing out on, because Percy Pigs are the absolute best sweet in the world. And I didn't have many. Okay. So, Percy Pigs in there, sitting beautiful, and you're just drawing it up. Really pretty with the pink ears, a little pretty face. And I still think embroidery is better because you've got a little bit more texture going on with the face. But I don't know, it's not too bad, is it? I don't think whoever is the recipient will mind whether it's embroidered or drawn on. But there we are. So you've got 2 little bunny rabbit bags now. What do you think? I think they're as cute as anything could be. There you go. So now you've got to go ahead and make some. So let's just switch this camera around and come back to you. It's fun with the camera in the corner, isn't it? Do you think? I kind of think it works. But there we are. We have 2 little two little bunny bags now. I shall have to find 2 recipients of my bunny bags. I think I've got a couple of people in mind. So there we are. So that is our Project 17 bunny bag. It's part of the Making It Monday series. And so quick reminder, if you go to lizzycurtis.com website and click on the shop, and you'll get a great big download of all the patterns there are in the shop. And you'll find one that says MIM free patterns. Click that. That takes you through to another page, and on that page are 17 projects. Now, you could, if you want to, put 17 projects in your cart and then check out. Now, if you put the word free in the coupon box, they will all be free. Now, that's not a bad deal, is it? So you don't have to do each one individually. You can do them all at the same time. And if you've missed the first one, the 6th one and the 17th one, then obviously just pick those out and pop them in your basket. And they're there for you to have and enjoy. And also don't forget that the videos are going to be, first of all, go to Lizzy Curtis Facebook page, look under videos, depending on what device you're using, and then you'll find the Facebook Lives there. You can go to my website, because under video tutorials is the MIM video tutorials, which are all of the ones that I've made. Or you can go to YouTube, and this should be uploaded a little bit later. And on YouTube, it'll be a pattern on there, or rather a video on there to watch. So there's lots of different ways of finding it. So there shouldn't be any problems with you struggling. Also, don't forget to join the Making It Monday ! Facebook page, okay, Facebook group. We have just tipped over the 1000th member, which is absolutely amazing, because it's only been going about 3 weeks, I think, 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe. And that's really where it showcases your makes, okay? It always has to be a Making It Monday pattern. It can't be anything else, because it's a gallery. It's a gallery for MIM, okay? So make them, post them, and we will admire them. I think that's a good enough deal, don't you? So that's the Making It Monday ! Facebook group. Just search, you'll find it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm ready to end now. I will see you all again next week. Next week we've got a nice little project. My gold members actually have already seen the project we've got for next week, but I think you'll find it really useful and really handy, and it's such an easy make. We could probably make half a dozen in 45 minutes. Anyway, I shall enjoy doing that with you. So have a great week, everybody. Don't waste a second of it. Get out there, smell the daffodils, and breathe in all that lovely fresh air. And I'll see you all again next Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.